Have you heard about the billionaire who once lived in a car? Today, we're exploring the incredible journey of Li Ka-Shing, a man who transformed dire circumstances into boundless success. This story will illuminate how unwavering determination, a forward-thinking mindset, and strategic actions can lead anyone from the lowest point to remarkable heights. If you've ever felt stuck or hopeless, Li Ka-Shing's life proves that no challenge is too great when you believe in your potential. Let's dive into his story and learn how to reshape our lives for the better. Overcoming the harshest beginnings, Li Ka-Shing's life began against the backdrop of wartime turmoil and sudden displacement, forcing his family to seek refuge in Hong Kong. Imagine the fear and uncertainty that come with fleeing your homeland, only to find yourself living in cramped quarters, struggling just to secure your next meal. That was Li's day-to-day reality, further compounded by the loss of his fathers during his teenage years. With virtually no safety net, he was left to navigate a harsh environment where survival meant accepting any job available, long shifts in a watch-strap factory, or other low-paying, physically demanding positions, just to scrape by. Despite these hardships, Li never lost sight of a bigger dream. In fact, these tough conditions galvanized his fighting spirit. Sleeping in a car at one point was not only a testament to his lack of options, but also a spark that ignited his resolve to break free from poverty. He began to realize that desperation can be turned into motivation, prompting him to seek knowledge beyond the routine tasks he was assigned. Instead of viewing dead-end jobs as mere necessities, he considered them stepping stones for something greater. Late at night, when exhaustion pressed heavy on his shoulders, he would envision a better tomorrow, a tomorrow he was determined to create for himself. This unwavering focus on possibility set Li Ka-Shing apart. He saw adversity not as a final sentence, but as a challenge to surpass. If you've ever felt trapped by circumstances, take heart. The brutality of Li's earliest chapters, marked by bombing raids, cramped accommodations, and the sting of profound loss, did not halt his trajectory. On the contrary, those experiences equipped him with grit and unbreakable tenacity. Instead of surrendering to the notion that his life story was already written by outside forces, Li used every setback as a proving ground for his ambition. By adopting that same perspective, you too can unlock a powerful shift in your own path. Every hurdle becomes a chance to strengthen your resilience and carve out new openings for success. Cultivating a powerful mindset. One of the most striking facets of Li Ka-Shing's journey is how he trained his mind to reject limitation. When he was working grueling shifts in factories, his co-workers often accepted their fates, complaining about the meager pay and long hours while assuming nothing could change. Li took a different approach. He knew every single day could be a chance to acquire a new skill, observe a business strategy, or nurture a more confident self-image. Even if his reality at the time was grim, sleeping in a car and barely making ends meet, he chose to believe that this was only a temporary stage. How many of us allow our current situation to define our sense of self-worth? Have you ever doubted your capacity to go beyond what you see in front of you? That doubt is precisely where Li refused to dwell. Instead, he practiced what some now call mental reframing. Whenever he faced a setback, he deliberately asked himself what could be learned from it. This perspective transformed each obstacle into a lesson, and each stumbling block into a prompt for personal evolution. Over time, by constantly challenging negative beliefs, Li Ka-Shing fortified the idea that if he worked smarter, not just harder, He could build a life that contrasted starkly with his humble beginnings. This mindset became a powerful force driving his career. Long before he was a household name, he was a quiet student of life. He observed how managers bargained for deals, how supply chains functioned, and how small decisions in production could yield significant profits or losses. By treating his environment as a university without walls, Li discovered he could educate himself through daily experiences. Every contract, conversation, and business hurdle. The result? He emerged with a mental toolkit that would later set him apart as a visionary entrepreneur. We all have the ability to cultivate our own mental advantage. Instead of seeing your present constraints as a dead end, see them as your personal training ground. Challenge your doubts, question your self-imposed limits, and stay curious. When you do this consistently, you create a powerful inner atmosphere where breakthroughs can happen. Li Ka-Shing proved it's not just luck or external conditions that determine greatness. It's the decision to see possibility everywhere, even in the bleakest corners of your life. Spotting opportunities others miss. Opportunity doesn't always announce itself with flashing lights. Often, it appears as a mundane or overlooked detail, waiting for someone with curiosity and courage to recognize its potential. Li Ka-Shing's early move into manufacturing plastic flowers stands as a perfect example. While some might dismiss such a venture as trivial, Li saw beyond the surface. He recognized that seemingly ordinary products, when crafted to a high standard and marketed strategically, could fill a gap and generate steady revenue. This willingness to enter a less glamorous sector opened the door to his first major entrepreneurial breakthrough, providing the capital he later channeled into more ambitious endeavors. Opportunity, by its nature, can appear anywhere, in your current job, your hobby, or even in an unexpected conversation with a friend. The crucial question is whether you can spot that hidden potential before someone else does. Li Ka-Shing did more than notice opportunities, though. He acted decisively. Rather than hesitating until conditions were perfect, he embraced the idea that learning on the go was often more effective than waiting idly for that elusive, ideal moment. This bold, forward-leaning attitude gave him a running start in the market, while others remained stuck in analysis paralysis. Even as he ventured beyond plastic flowers, investing in real estate and other industries, Li always used one key principle: never underestimate the possibilities locked inside small beginnings. He saw each market shift, each economic trend, as a chance to pivot and capitalize on emerging needs. Real estate might have seemed like an entirely different game, but the underlying logic, recognize a basic need and respond effectively, remained the same. If you're wondering how to emulate this principle in your own life, start by examining the things you take for granted. Are there simple problems in your neighborhood that no one has tackled? Is there a growing demand in your professional field that you could fulfill with a bit of extra training? Does your favorite pastime have hidden commercial or creative potential you've never considered? By taking a closer look, you may discover that opportunities have been around you all along, just waiting for you to connect the dots. When you decide to act, do so wholeheartedly. Research, plan, and commit, but also be ready to refine your approach as you learn. Remember, Li Ka-Shing turned a venture that many might have dismissed, manufacturing plastic flowers, into the bedrock of a global empire. What untapped possibilities could you be overlooking in your own life? Innovating for growth and impact. At the heart of Li Ka-Shing's empire lies a commitment to continuous innovation. From plastic manufacturing, he expanded into real estate, telecommunications, retail, and beyond, making strategic moves as markets shifted and new technologies emerged. Rather than relying on old successes, he embraced a forward-thinking mentality, always pushing for more efficient processes, better customer experiences, and solutions that aligned with rapidly changing consumer demands. This approach wasn't about chasing every flashy trend. It was about staying curious, staying informed, and being nimble enough to pivot when the winds of change started blowing. Have you ever resisted change because it felt too unfamiliar or intimidating? Li Ka-Shing would argue that remaining static is often far more dangerous than venturing into new territory. Yes, mistakes are possible when trying something unfamiliar, but stagnation can be a surefire route to irrelevance. In a world where technological breakthroughs can disrupt entire industries almost overnight, adaptability isn't just a competitive edge, it's a survival tool. One of Li's guiding principles was to invest in industries that catered to future generations' needs. Whether it was real estate or telecommunications, he asked himself what people would require in the next decade rather than simply focusing on immediate gains. As a result, his portfolio consistently positioned him as an early adopter of promising trends, setting him apart from competitors who played it safe. The lesson for us is clear. If you want to thrive over the long haul, cultivate the habit of thinking ahead. That might mean updating your skill set regularly, seeking out new perspectives, or even reimagining a long-time project that no longer reflects the evolving marketplace. True innovation rarely arises from a place of comfort. It's birthed by those willing to challenge the status quo and invest time, energy, and resources in fresh ideas. This approach applies to personal growth just as much as it does to multinational enterprises. Maybe you've been doing things one way for years, whether it's how you organize your day, manage your finances, or interact with others, and you suspect it's no longer effective. Instead of shrugging and continuing as usual, take a page from Li Ka-Shing's playbook. Ask yourself what's next, test a new strategy, and don't fear the learning curve. Over time, these experiments can spark the breakthrough that propels you into an entirely new realm of success. Paying it forward, a legacy of giving. Although Li Ka-Shing's name is most often associated with astounding business ventures, his story cannot be told without highlighting his deep commitment to philanthropy. Through the Li Ka-Shing Foundation, he has contributed billions to education, healthcare, and community programs worldwide, promoting a vision where individual success fuels collective uplift. He never forgot the struggles of his youth, those cold nights spent in a cramped car, the days of near constant worry over basic survival. Rather than erasing these memories, he allowed them shape a philanthropic mission dedicated to helping others escape the cycle of poverty. This spirit of giving doesn't require billions to be meaningful. Even if your resources are modest, deciding to pay it forward can transform someone's life in ways you might never fully realize. Mentoring a younger colleague, volunteering in your community, or simply offering consistent support to a friend in crisis all carry the power to shift trajectories. Such acts of generosity not only benefit others, they also reinforce a sense of purpose and gratitude in you. Li Ka-Shing's legacy reminds us that true success is not measured solely by net worth or share prices, but by the positive ripple effects we set in motion. As he built his empire, he created jobs, funded new research, and strengthened entire communities through focused initiatives. Each step in his journey, from the car he once called home to the boardrooms of global corporations, served as a powerful testament to the notion that when you rise, you have a chance to lift others along with you. So consider how you can weave compassion and generosity into your own life story. If you've gained a skill, share it. If you've learned a lesson, pass it on. And if you have an opportunity to fund or mentor an endeavor that could elevate someone else, embrace that choice. When success converges with empathy, the result is a legacy that resonates far beyond personal accolades. In Li Ka-Shing's world, giving back is not an afterthought, but a guiding principle. And it's a principle that can infuse your own journey with a deeper sense of meaning and fulfillment. Li Ka-Shing's life reminds us that setbacks can be the genesis of greatness when met with unwavering determination and a heart inclined to uplift others. Whether you're confronting personal hurdles or eyeing ambitious goals, remember his example. Begin with whatever you have, stay curious, innovate, and share your gains along the way. True wealth transcends money. It's about forging opportunities, inspiring progress, and transforming lives. If this video resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe to Rise and Inspire. Let's keep fueling one another's dreams and forging a future where we all rise together.